We have major news today that will severely affect the future of the MCU. What's up everyone, it's Warren, and today we have just found out that the deal between Sony and Marvel is no more, and Spider-Man will no longer be in the MCU moving forward.
Start? I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
Now, this is obviously really upsetting news to many of the Spider-Man fans out there, especially considering how much everybody loved Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man Far From Home. According to a report from Deadline.com, after the massive success that Spider-Man Far From Home had, Disney and Sony re-entered negotiations for the Spider-Man in the MCU contract. The original contract that Marvel and Disney had for Spider-Man in the MCU was for 6 films: Captain America Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then of course Spider-Man Far From Home, with 1 remaining film left. Then we heard reports that Marvel and Sony re-entered negotiations to have more Spider-Man films in the MCU with Tom Holland. According to the report from Deadline, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige will no longer produce any further Spider-Man films because of an inability by Disney and Sony Pictures to reach new terms that would have given the former a co-financing stake going forward. This mostly comes down to money. Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financing arrangement between the studios, and there were discussions that this might extend to other films in the Spider-Man universe. And Sony reportedly turned down that offer. Sony doesn't want to share its biggest franchise. Sources say that Sony proposed keeping the arrangement going under the current terms, where Marvel receives in the range of a 5% of the first dollar gross, in which, according to this report, Disney declined. So essentially what we have here is that Sony saw the massive success that Spider-Man Far From Home had and decided they want to keep Spider-Man all to themselves. But Marvel is really what made Spider-Man. Now, of course, Spider-Man has and always will be a beloved character of Marvel, despite who owns him. Spider-Man Far From Home was the very first Spider-Man film to gross over $1 billion. And this is no doubtedly due to the massive success of all the other MCU films that he was in, especially Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, which is now officially the biggest movie of all time. If you take away Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man's involvement in Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Far From Home doesn't make over $1 billion. Again, people love Spider-Man, he's a great character, but without Spider-Man in the MCU, Spider-Man just under Sony does not do as well. So as of right now, unfortunately, as the report stands, Spider-Man will no longer appear in the MCU. As of right now, films will continue to be made with Tom Holland, but Marvel will have no oversight of the films. However, I am hearing from a couple of sources that the deal isn't officially over yet and there could be some hope. So if I hear any news whatsoever about the Sony-Disney deal, I'll be sure to do a video on it and let you all know what's happening. I have no doubt that everybody is pretty ticked off about this, so go ahead and let it all out in the comments down below. Also, if you'd like a chance to win an Xbox One or a PS4, be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and comment below with your favorite superhero or villain. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.